I know countries are at war right now, but I still wanted to talk to you guys about learning Russian. It's a different experience than I've experienced with any other language. One of the examples being, it's a super lovely language to learn. So my girlfriend's Ukrainian and we speak Russian together for a part. She grew up in a Russian-speaking part and I have been learning Russian on and off for quite some time before I met her. What I really noticed is the love those people have for their own language. And it is something that I cannot understand being Dutch, speaking English. I don't know anyone who's really fond of the language Dutch themselves. It's just we speak it, right? So no one is ever like, ik praat en ik vind het zo fijn. And I don't know, but when, I also speak Japanese for quite a part. And also there people are not really like in love with their own language or whatever. That's maybe a weird way to put it, but when I study Russian people, they are so happy to help me with the language because they love the language, and it is a bond with their own words and language that I cannot fathom. I cannot understand as a native Dutch speaker. The meaning of the word family is so different in Russia and just in general Slavic speaking countries. Like, I don't want to put it like that, but sometimes in Western countries it's almost like I just happen to be born in the same nest as these persons, right? and I don't know, in Russia it's really like you are together, like вместе, it's like you're a unit and you hate each other all you want, but you look after the other person no matter what. It is a super important bond, and family is important to everyone, but I really feel like how Slavic people deal with it, it's a whole different meaning of the word, and I respect it so much, and it feels really warm to me. It's so loving, even though these people can completely hate each other, It is maybe because the bond is so deep. I don't know if you've ever watched Naruto, but they sometimes feel a little bit like the Uchihas, right? Because, they love so much deeper. They also get more often in conflict and stuff. And that was really, I really relate to that. And also because they care so deeply about their family, that's really an Uchiha thing. And I really see that in these people as well. Being as weirdly sensitive as I am, I can sometimes feel into words, and it's really absurd. I don't do it on purpose, but sometimes it just comes. So when I learn Japanese, I usually feel very calm. It really relates to me in that manner. But with Russian, I can sometimes feel the meaning of things, and that gives me also a lot of feel with languages often. But the language of Russia feels so deeply rooted in the culture and so loving. I can really get warm from learning the language, where with Japanese I don't really have that. But in a sense I feel really calm and collected, I want to say, because that is, and that's also, Japanese people are very detailed. They can really see details and everything. They take their time for things. It's also, you have to be, if you have like a script like that, you have to take your time for things. But they're still very different than Chinese people who, mostly use the same script. So it is really a cultural difference. But yeah, Japanese, very detailed, and you can feel some of that calmness and that taking time for things and making something, because of that, like more thorough. I can feel that when I study the kanji and the words, and it is a feeling that comes over me when I learn that. And the funnest part for me, to be honest, is when I can combine languages. So I don't know, I was just watching like anime with my girlfriend yesterday, because I do that, and then her English is not super well yet. It's much better than my Russian, by the way, but sometimes, I don't know. It was like, I don't know if you know Inosuke from Demon Slayer, but he was like saying to some guy like, "Anata no sonzai wa imi ga nee no," which, man, and she didn't fully understand. So I can translate to Russian. It's like, "Tvo жизнь wa ничего не значит," and she was like, "Oh, that's funny as hell," but I love that. I remember being in France one time and I had my One Piece manga with me, because I do have some books, like really written in, manga written in Japanese, and I cannot read them fully, but I come quite far when I, study it. And I was invited to a French barbecue there, and like 20 people, and all of them were watching One Piece. It was crazy. So at some point, with my drunk ass, because it was a barbecue, and I don't know, we were drinking, and they wanted me to drink, I believe, maybe not even, but um, I don't know. I put the manga there, and in native Japanese, and these guys were, oh, that's amazing. And at some point, I was directly translating that Japanese into French, and these people like, aren't you Dutch? And I was like, yeah, what the hell am I doing? It's like, if you would ask me today to directly translate Japanese or French, I couldn't do it. But oh man, it is just so much fun. That's what I love about language is it's not, you're not memorizing words, you're memorizing, you're stepping into the mindset, the feeling, like the energy of a whole culture. And that stuff comes over me sometimes little by little when I study the language. And because even if you just take it mentally, and I don't believe in only mentally, but the way you have to phrase things is completely different. So it comes already with a different mindset. And if I speak Russian to my girlfriend, I'm extremely cute because Russian is pretty like hard on, right? And where in Japanese, I'm always a little bit rude because I understand some of the subtleties, but I will never grasp the whole of it because I am not Japanese. So I will always be slightly rude, maybe even more. And the that's just, they have a way of talking over things, and you need to know all the customs to know when not to offend someone, almost, right? And they know I'm foreign. It's very obvious from my face, so they cut me some slack for sure. But and they really commend me on trying. One time I was in the plane in Japan because I've been to Japan, had my tattooed on there by a Japanese artist, uh, Amaterasu Mikami, the sun goddess of Japan. But I was sitting in a plane there and was reading a book in Dutch from a Japanese writer, by the way. I don't even know how that ended up happening. Murakami Haruki. And she was like, "Oh, what are you reading?" Like old, elderly Japanese woman. And with my Japanese wasn't so good at the time. It was more like children's Japanese. I knew a lot of words, but the phrase doesn't matter. And she was so happy that I could explain some things to her in Japanese, because it's not often that Japanese people have the chance to talk to foreigners, right? And um, because who speaks Japanese? Well, not a lot of people. So that's kind of the thing. And I was really like in Fukuoka, I believe, no, Kagoshima. So it's really southern Japan, and not a lot of foreigners there, And she loved it. She thanked me so many times for that experience. While in Japan, elderly people are like almost they're very respected because they have more life experience, I think. But for her to thank me so many times, that's already something that I, as a foreigner, maybe will go over too fast. But yeah, she was so happy just to be able to speak to someone with a different mindset and to get some explanation instead of never really knowing what's up with those guys, foreign people. So man, I definitely love that. That's the thing, right? Because I speak a little bit French, I can go to a French barbecue and really like an authentic like French evening, because it is a different way of going about things. However you twist and turn it, these people were really like bonded together. 20 people would come over on impulse to just have a barbecue and wine, and that being together is really a thing for them in a lot of parts in France. And because I can understand some of the language, I can actually go with that and experience something else than just only my Dutch way of going about things, which I didn't even know was that Dutch until you start, stepping into other cultures. And it's just France, it's pretty much almost a neighbor of Netherlands. So it's not even that far. And it's already, I felt the difference there. And like with Russia for sure, So it is still sometimes a little bit hard figuring out the differences, in mentality with me and the girlfriend. But yeah, I don't know. So when I learn Russian, I step into different culture, and I especially feel a lot of love for the language and a lot of love for its own people. Um, I think that's also what Russia really needed. I mean, it's been the villain forever in every single movie for 100 years or so. It's always the villain everywhere. And at some point, I think it just did like, well, then I love myself. And I will never, I don't know, I will never forgive any country that starts a war. So it's not really about that, but just trying to paint a picture there because, yeah, that's what it's like for me. Anyway, I have a special love for Slavic people. They are super warm. They can be a bit crazy at times because of that. Again, Uchiha clan, maybe something like that. But I really feel a sincere warmth that I don't really feel quite that way in other cultures, and it's really special. And the meaning of just a bond is so much deeper in Russia and Slavic countries than it is in other. I mean, I don't connect so much to like Netherlands. I'm not like, oh, I'm a Dutch person and just become proud of that. It's more like, oh, this is just the country I happen to be born in, and then I speak the language, and it's not that much more for me. It's not like I'm raw Dutch, right? And they do have that they do have that bond with their countries, and it's not only Russia. It's Slavic countries more in general, right? They a little bit have the thing. Russia more especially, but yeah. So that bond is that is very interesting to me, and I don't know. It can make for very loving bonds between persons, and yeah, I wanted to share that. I think it's special. So this started off as a Russian thing. It kind of became like more of a cultural language learning thing. So if you enjoyed that, hit the subscribe button somewhere. Love you all, and see you with the next video. Will probably be coming out tomorrow. So.